Hi, and welcome to Reading Between the Lines. I'm your host, the Water Dog, and today I'm going to be starting my series on having a one vampire crypt. That's right, a one vampire crypt. No copy, just simply the same vampire. And I'm talking about not using things like Anarch Convert. We're not going to cheat things out and just kind of maneuver things. And nope, you got to have the same vampire, 12 copies, no advancement things. We're not merging things. We're not, nope. You're just going to have one vampire. And so we're going to look at this because it's just casual fun. I always like to challenge myself. One of the things I like to do is do things like this where I just build one vampire and can I beat the table with just one vampire? And so we're going to look at some ideas on how to construct that and just have fun with it. So here we go. Uh, the first thing that I do when I'm trying to do this is figure out what is the best type of vampire to use. And so one of the things that I have discovered about this is using an 8-cap vampire. An 8-cap vampire is great in a lot of ways because number one is the amount of turns it's going to take you to get it out, because you've got about a 40 to 50% chance you can get it out in 2 turns. Okay. If you've got a Dreams of the Sphinx, you've got a little more than a 50% chance of getting it out in 2 turns. Because let's say you're in the third position, you got a Dreams of the Sphinx. Well, you're going to get your 3 transfers plus the Dreams of the Sphinx is going to give you 1. That's 4. Your second turn, you're going to get 4. You're going to be able to get it out turn 2. So you don't have to rely on getting a big vampire out by using Azilla's Valley. You can eliminate that card because the 8-cap vampire is going to, you're going to be able to get it out turn 2 no later than turn 3. You cannot say the same about a 9-cap vampire or a 10-cap or 11-cap. Okay? 9-cap vampire, there are chances where, it's going to take you, 3 turns to get it out. Okay? 10-cap, there's a chance it could take you 4 turns to get it out. So, I like the 8-cap in the sense that I can get it out, about half the time, by turn 2. The other thing about playing an 8-cap vampire is that it now puts into play 2 fun cards for you to use to have a lot of fun. The first one is Golconda. Golconda is such a good card because what it allows you to do is it allows you to play it on your own vampire. So one of my favorite things is using Valen. So I've got Valen. I can take 5 blood off of my 8-cap vampire. I now got 5 added back into my pool. And then with Golconda, I can then burn the vampire. I've now got 8 that I can put back into the pool. And I can do all that in 1 turn. Okay. The other thing about doing a Valen too with your vampire is if you don't want to use your Golconda just then, you could always do it for the 5. You've got 3 blood left on your vampire. And then you still have enough blood to where you can do multiple actions. You can still do things like Freak Drive and stuff like that, which we'll get to later. But it allows Golconda to come into play, and that is significant for this type of deck to have fun with. The other card that is very playable for this is then becomes Dark Mirror of the Mind, because Dark Mirror of the Mind is a +1 stealth action. Requires a vampire with capacity of 8 or more. You get to gain 2 pool. So it puts that little card into play too, as well as a way to gain pool. So those 2 cards come into play, and there's a few others that we'll get to, but that's another reason for going with the 8-cap. I know that there's a lot of 9, 10, and 11 caps that you could play that are just you see them in tournaments a lot, and really all the other vampires in the crypt are really just there for support, but they're really playing with those one big guys. Me, I like more of a challenge. Like I said, I'm a casual player. I like the 8-cap. So really, what I'm looking for in an 8-cap vampire when I'm trying to do things like this is I'm just looking for vampires to have fun with. Uh, the big thing is to be able to do multiple actions, and so that's the key. And so fortitude is typically a prerequisite for me. So if I'm playing Abraham Disable, for example, he's got superior fortitude. Okay. The other thing that I'm looking at is, do they have a special ability that can help you do certain things? So, like for example, with Abraham, during an action, Abraham can discard a card requiring blood sorcery to get +1 intercept or +1 stealth. Okay, And so, do they have an extra ability? Okay, do they have those types of things? The other thing, of course, is their disciplines. How do their disciplines mount up? How are you going to utilize those disciplines, and so forth and so on? One of the things that I typically like with vampires, if I'm going to play a one vampire deck, is can they do combat? Because, if you can defend that vampire or have that vampire take out other vampires, that's always to your advantage, especially if you're playing that, you know. So we're always looking for ways to do multiple actions. Multiple actions is big. It's very, very big. So even if I've got something like a Matus, right? Matus Graboski, he's a Nosferatu. He's a Sabbat. So even though he doesn't have Fortitude, what he does is he has Sabbat. You can still play a Dance Macabre. So you can still play a card like that where you can unlock and do another action. Once again, you're always looking for ways to unlock and do multiple actions, or at least be able to unlock and be able to play when it's not your turn, so that you can do certain things when it's not your turn. So even things like, equipping with like a leather jacket, for example. Once again, that protects the vampire, but it also allows you to unlock. So the ability to do multiple act is big when you're doing a one vampire deck, and so that it's just one of the things I like. So picking your vampires is very, very important. Making sure that you're going to play ones that you like. Uh, I'm going to kind of introduce you to a few of them that I like to play with and have built around today. So let's just kind of get to it. One of my favorites that I've ever built was Rosia. Rosia is great because she is a gargoyle and she's not a slave. So you don't have to worry about the slave restrictions, okay? And she's got those great combat disciplines, okay? And she's got flight, okay? The other thing is that she gets an optional press each combat. So you don't have to worry about having the extra press card because she's got one built in. And so you're able to really, do a lot of combat damage with her, okay? The other thing is you've got stealth. Now, even though it's basic stealth, it's still stealth, and so you're able to get to some of the actions that you want to get to utilize her. So Rosia is a fun card to play with. Like I said, I've built her a couple of times just to have a one vampire deck, and she's a lot of fun. She's really, really good. Okay, let's look at. I hope I'm saying his name right, because it's you worry about that sometimes if you're saying these names right. Almatother. I hope I'm saying that right. Almatother, God's Witness. Let's just call him God's Witness. Uh, got a lot of fun abilities. Got a lot of fun abilities with this vampire. And of course, with Temporis, one of the things is that you now get to use a couple of cards in there that are a lot of fun to play with. The first one would be Summon History. Okay, and what's fun about Summon History is you can now go and get any ally retainer or equipment. Okay, and you can put it into play. Okay, and what God's Witness does is, since he's got Obfuscate, okay, you've now got stealth to help get that action off. So you've got the Temporis cards that gives you stealth, but you've also got Obfuscate that helps you get stealth to help you get these actions off. And so now you can go out and get a muddled vampire hunter. You know what I'm saying? You can go out and get Ocean, and you can have a lot of fun with that. So he can be utilized to do that. I know that typically speaking, when people play a true I'm not gonna say this right, a true Bruja deck, typically speaking, the vampire that they're going to use for getting allies is Shamath, okay? Because Shamath does have a built-in unlock. The downside of Shamath is that he doesn't have Obfuscate, okay? So to help get the actions off. The other thing that God's Witness, gives you is he gives you aspects. So now you've got a bounce bleed, okay? Now you've got something that you've got built in where you can simply bounce things, okay? So you've got all these advantages where you can create and put into play allies. You can put retainers on Al, but especially with that Auspex, you can now bounce bleed if you need to, okay? And so there's a lot of advantages to playing Al. He's a good one to to utilize in that one vampire format. Well, that's all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to continue with the series on just having fun with a one crypt vampire. Till then, I'll see y'all. Y'all take care. You watched the whole video? Congratulations. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Reading Between the Lines. I'm your host, The Water Dog, and if you like what you've been watching, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Y'all take care.